In the next several minutes, we're going to look at the setup and customization of myServiceJobsPlus. When a user signs up for myServiceJobsPlus, we automatically create the dashboard, which is essentially all the web-based components of myServiceJobsPlus, what you're seeing right now. We don't capture a lot of information at signup, so we populate various settings with generic information. For instance, at the top of the home screen, we put in the text, "Your company name," and in parentheses, we tell you where to go to change it. Go to Settings, then Company Information. We'll update this in a few minutes. The settings screen and the items listed here are the focus of this video. Before we start making any changes, I'll say that the goal of these settings and customizations should be to make myServiceJobsPlus work as effectively as it can for you and your customers. Keep in mind, none of these settings are written in stone, so to speak. As your needs or business change, you may come back to these settings anytime and make the changes. Like anything, the more you use it, the better you'll know how to tweak it to meet your needs. Let's start with company information. Clicking the Company Information button shows the current company information, in this case, the generic information. I've gone ahead and edited this with information for a hypothetical company. Obviously, you want to enter whatever information applies for you. If you want to take time right now and put in your information, this would be a good point at which to pause the video. You'll see at the bottom of the page, you also have the option of uploading a logo. This is a logo that would be used on communications with your customers. If you choose to upload a logo, click the Choose File button. This will open a window where you can navigate to the file you want to upload. You'll want to upload either a JPEG, PNG, or GIF file. Once you find and select your file, the name of the file will appear next to the Choose File button, and then click Upload. One important note, currently the size of the file you upload needs to be less than 500 kilobytes. If you try to upload something larger than this, you'll be reminded on the screen that there is a file size limit. When you're finished making your changes, make sure to click Save. Whenever Save is clicked successfully, a dialog box is shown indicating the changes have been successfully saved. Now, whatever you entered for company name is going to appear at the top of all your dashboard screens. When first navigating to the settings screen, the various settings appear as a column of buttons. Once you start going into specific settings, however, those buttons turn into links along the top of the settings screen. All the settings are still accessible, they're just links instead of buttons. Next, we'll set up blocks and availability. These settings directly affect how your customers and future customers will request appointments online. Here, you basically set up blocks of time on specific days of the week, then set the maximum number of appointment requests you'll accept within each time block. We've populated the settings with generic information so you have an idea of what it might look like. We totally expect that you'll need to make at least some adjustments. Let's say in this particular company, we don't accept appointment requests for Wednesdays, so I'll uncheck Wednesday. However, we do accept appointment requests for Saturdays, so I'll check Saturday. I'll leave the start of the day at 8 a.m., but I'm going to change the end of the day to 6 p.m. I'll keep the block size at 4 hours. Now, since I made these changes, the next step is to click Reset Blocks. This clears what was there and resets the blocks based on the new settings. In the table with time blocks and resources, resources refers to how many appointment requests you'll accept in that block of time. Enter whatever you'd like. Remember, this can be edited at any time. Of course, remember to click Save. The next setting to look at is appointment types. Appointment types, or service types, also directly affect how your customers will request appointments. Whatever you enter here will appear in a drop-down list when an appointment request is made online. The list doesn't have to be long, but it should be an accurate reflection of the services you provide. When an appointment request is made, the customer will be able to provide additional notes. However, providing accurate categories from which to choose will help you when it's time to view and schedule the appointment request. You obviously won't want the dummy service type that we put in there, so your first step should be to click Edit next to that service type and change the name. I'll state the obvious, remember to click Save. To add another service type, click the Add button and enter and save it. Pretty straightforward. If you need to add more service types in the future or edit the existing ones, no problem. Just come back to this screen. Moving on, let's look at the customer communications settings. myServiceJobsPlus gives you the option to send automated messages to your customers, both text messages and emails. Currently, the notifications that can be sent are acknowledgement, when a customer requests an appointment, and confirmation, when an appointment has been accepted by you and scheduled. Select the checkboxes next to whichever message you want to send. You may send both text messages and emails. The text messages are sent if the customer has a valid mobile number on record. The same is true for email. You may also change the contents of the messages if you'd like. Just make sure to keep the date and time in brackets as they are. Without the brackets, your customers will just see the words date and time. With the brackets, your customers will see the date and time that apply for the specific appointment request. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see fields for email addresses. You definitely want to enter something in the email from field. It really doesn't matter what this address is. Just make sure it's one that if a customer replies, you or somebody at your company will see it. If you want to send copies of the emails and you don't care if recipients see, then enter the address or addresses in Email CC. Obviously, if you don't want recipients to see where copies are going, use the Email BCC field. You may put multiple addresses in the CC and BCC fields. Just make sure to separate any email addresses with a comma or semicolon. And remember that all-important step of clicking Save. Quite a few times now, I've mentioned the appointment request that will be made by your customers and future customers. Now we're going to look at how to customize the calendar your customers will see when requesting an appointment. Calendar customization is where you'll add personal touches to the customer scheduling calendar. The customer calendar link is really important. If you have a button or link on your website where visitors click to schedule an appointment, this is the link that you'll use. By the way, if you don't have a website, we can set up a free microsite, which is a one-page website solely for the purpose of scheduling. If you'd like more information on this, just let us know. Back to the customer calendar link. If you want to see what your calendar looks like, go ahead and click on the link. This will open up your calendar in another tab. Here again, you can see we put some generic information in the header area at the top and the footer area at the bottom. I'm going to show you how to customize those along with how you can insert images along the top of the screen, in the middle, and on the left and right sides. A nice thing about having this calendar open in another tab is you can make changes to the settings, then come back to this tab and refresh your browser to see what things look like right away. That's a good way to make sure things look the way you want them to. Back at the settings screen, let's first look at uploading graphics. The layout that you're currently seeing may look different when you log into your dashboard. However, you'll have the options to upload all three graphics. To insert a graphic, click Choose File, and in the window that opens up, navigate to the file of the graphic you want to upload. Remember, you want a file type of either JPEG, PNG, or GIF, and the file size needs to be less than 500 kilobytes. Once you've chosen a graphic, the file name will show up next to the Choose File button. Click Upload, and now the graphic is on your calendar. To upload the other two graphics, follow the same process. If at any point you want to see what the graphics look like on the calendar, switch over to the tab where your customer calendar is and refresh the browser. If you don't like the way it looks or decide you want to use a different graphic, switch back to your settings and upload a different one. The other items you'll want to customize on the customer scheduling calendar are the header and the footer. We'll look at the header first. The input window for the header is a rich text editor, so you have a lot of flexibility with respect to font size, colors, etc. To begin with, you'll want to delete what we have in here by default. You can put as much or as little as you want in the header. Our suggestion is to put enough information, but not too much. I realize that's a very general guide, but just use your best judgment, and you should be fine. So I've deleted the default text and input some other information. Now, I'll briefly show you how you might want to format the text. Don't be afraid to experiment here. Remember that you can always save your changes and preview them right away, so you can quickly change something you don't like. Okay, I've customized the header the way I want and would like to see what it looks like. That's a piece of cake. Of course, I want to click Save, and then I'll switch to the tab with the calendar and refresh my browser. Just like that, I can see the changes I made and decide if I want to keep it that way or make changes. Now I'll switch back to the tab where my settings screen is open and I'll make changes to the footer. Delete the default text and put in whatever else you'd like. Technically, you don't need to have anything here, but it's good to have something. If you don't know what to enter, something as simple as "have a great day" can fill the space nicely and maybe even put a smile on someone's face. Okay, we're almost home. The last thing to look at is user management. First is the invite user utility. Let's say you have an employee you want to bring on as a user in myServiceJobsPlus. Click Invite User, then enter the first name, last name, email address, and click Send. This will send an email to that user with all the information they need to get the myServiceJobs application and join your group. Remember, they will need to subscribe to myServiceJobsPlus in the app to join your group. If your user list is extensive enough, there's also a search field to help you find what you're looking for. In most cases, you won't need this. Clicking on Edit allows you to edit the name of a user. You may also delete users, which would be used in a case where an employee is no longer working with you. Regarding editing users, more editable parameters may be added in the future as more features are added to myServiceJobsPlus. That covers all the settings you need to know in myServiceJobsPlus. If you haven't done so already, get in there and start working with it. If you have any questions, make sure to check out our myServiceJobsPlus support resources on our website and our videos on our YouTube channel. And if you have any other questions or encounter any issues, chat with us using our live chat at www.myserviceforce.com or email us at support@myserviceforce.com. One last thing. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. It's a really useful resource and a great way to keep up to date with what's going on with MyServiceForce and be notified when new videos are posted.